In the tiny yard outside a little house in Bethlehem, where his family now lives, Joseph busies himself sawing boards for a baby bed. He takes a step back to survey his work. Suddenly, he hears the crunch of hooves coming up the road. He looks up to see a strange procession of camels with lavishly dressed princes astride. Perhaps they are wealthy merchants or even kings. He doesn't know, but he can't imagine what business they would have in this part of Bethlehem. "Excuse me, sir," interrupts one of the men. "We are Magi from the far east and have been following a certain star." Pointing upward, he says, "We have come to see the child who is a king. Would you happen to be his father?" Joseph's heart leaps to his throat. He stands up tall, clenching his fists. Edging over in front of the door, he takes a protective stance. "Sir, we have come to bring gifts and to worship the King of the Jews," said another, his eyes bright with hope. Joseph hesitates, the tension now easing. "Let me tell my wife," he says. Quietly opening the door, he finds her nursing the child. "Mary, some men, Magi from the east, have come to bring gifts. They say their gifts are for the King of the Jews." Mary smiles knowingly. "Let them in, Joseph," she says, covering herself. "They must have come from far away and are probably tired and cold." Joseph steps back out and invites them in. He watches the men, dressed in rich brocades and silks, tapping the necks of their camels. The massive animals fold their legs and crouch as they dismount. Reverently, they enter the little hovel as the sound of swishing silken robes and the fragrance of exotic perfumes drifts through the humble little dwelling. Joseph looks up at them warily, but relaxes when he sees the looks on their faces as they fix shining eyes upon the face of the child. One by one, the Magi remove their jeweled turbans and fall to their knees before him. A hush of wonder falls over them. The first Magi lays his treasure chest full of gold before the little one. "For the Prince of Glory," he says radiantly, "for he is the King of all kings." The next one, swarthier in complexion, places a gem-covered jar of rich incense at his feet. "For the one whose fragrance will fill the whole earth," he whispers reverently. The last one hesitates, his throat tight with emotion. He gently lays down a vase of liquid myrrh. "For his death," he softly sighs, barely able to speak. "For he has been born to die for a fallen human race." A fresh twist of the sword turns in Mary's heart as she hears these words, for she knows that myrrh is used to embalm bodies. Then the sword cuts deep as she hears the warning of the Magi. "You must leave Bethlehem immediately. Herod's jealousy has been aroused, and he will seek to kill him before his time." They quickly depart, mounting their camels. Joseph watches and wonders. They have left everything, he thinks, their homes, their families, and their country, to seek the Messiah. And now they've brought the foreboding news about Herod. I must comfort Mary, or she will be beside herself with worry. The Magi tap the necks of their camels, signaling them to rise from their crouching position. Then they ride off into the night. "Oh, Joseph, what did they mean?" Mary's mind swims with confusion and fear. "Our child must be in danger." "I don't know, but let's try to get some sleep. I'm sure the Lord will show us what to do."